Alright, what's up guys? It's your boy, we back in the building, and I've got something I need to talk about. It's something that, this has happened quite a while ago, but you know what? I need to talk about it, because I would be doing a disservice to my country if I did not talk about this. And that is the final season of Star Wars The Clone Wars. And, my god, I've never felt that much excitement in my life. I now feel what the people who saw the sequels in theaters felt, especially Revenge of the Sith, because my god, what an exhilarating conclusion to a fantastic cartoon series. Oh my gosh. I remember every Friday night when I was young, I would go out with my family. You know, we'd go to have dinner as a family together, you know, maybe to the mall, hang out a bit. And you know, everything was going well until it got to like 7:30. And then I became a little bastard because I would force my parents to like rush me home right away so I can watch the new episode of Star Wars The Clone Wars at 8 o'clock on Cartoon Network. And I feel bad for that because we were having such good wholesome times as family, but and then I put that away for Star Wars. But you know what? I'm mature now, you know. If I could go back, I would do it all again the same way because I love Star Wars. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I do love Star Wars, but you know, family is more important than anything to me. But that series, oh my goodness. Because I watched that movie. I watched the Clone Wars movie when it came out in theaters. That was the first time I ever saw a Star Wars movie in theaters. I know, and looking back at it, that movie was alright. I mean, definitely a lot of people don't like it. I can understand why, because the animation in that wasn't, you know, its best, the best the series has seen. The movie was originally supposed to be like episodes, but then George Lucas, the creator of Star Wars, decided, you know what, these could make a good movie, so they put them all together, and it was kind of done at the last second. But either way, I loved it, and I've gone back and watched that movie multiple times, especially now that I own Disney Plus, because I sold my soul to the devil. The devil with, instead of pointy horns, he's got big ears. No, I'm kidding. I like the mouse. What can I say? I'm a customer. You give me entertainment, I'll give you money. That's it. Nothing else. Don't try doing anything else. But besides that, yeah, I watched the whole series. I fell in love. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I think if you're in my Discord server, you definitely know that. I love Star Wars. That's basically where my wanting to become a storyteller started. It was with Star Wars. I remember watching A New Hope, or Episode 4. I remember watching that movie when I was 7 years old in first grade. My dad brought it home from Blockbuster, that beautiful place before the dark times, before Netflix and Hulu Prime Videos. He brought home the DVD, you know, of A New Hope, and we watched it, me and my family, and I fell in love with it. I'm pretty sure from the time span we had that DVD, I watched it 100 times. I'm not joking. Like, I'm actually being serious when I say that. I think I watched it 100 times within the month we had it, and we weren't even supposed to have it for a month. I think we accidentally we kept it, and we had to pay charge for bringing it back late, but I did it because I love it. And then I watched all the other movies. I watched them all. Actually, I didn't watch them all in order. I watched the original trilogy in order from 4, 5, and 6, and then when I started getting into the prequels, I actually saw episodes 1 and 3, and then I saw 2. I don't know why that happened. I just could never find 2 for some reason. We never were able to find 2, and so I saw 3, and then I went back and watched 2. And I'm kind of bummed that happened because I feel like if I saw 2 first, 3 would have been more impactful, and it was already impactful. That movie was, that's my favorite Star Wars movie, I think. That or Rogue One, they're pretty tied. But if we're talking episodes in the actual Skywalker story, Revenge of the Sith is definitely my favorite. But besides that, let's get back to the Clone Wars. That was, oh my gosh, if you're a Star Wars fan and you haven't seen it, you gotta see it. You gotta watch all of that. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. I was disappointed because for those who are like big into the Star Wars lore, I think a lot of them probably know that if anything, a big moment in the Clone Wars and in the Star Wars universe is probably when Coruscant comes under attack from the Separatists and General Grievous captures the Chancellor. And I was really excited to see that, because the 2003 Clone Wars series, the 2D animated series in 2003, they did that, and it was great, and I was excited to see what they could do with this one. And unfortunately, they didn't do it. They mentioned it, how it was happening, but it's solely focused on Ahsoka, Captain Rex, and Darth Maul, and then Order 66. And I was kind of bummed, but now that I saw it, I am so glad they went that route. It was so good. It was so good. I'm bummed I didn't get to see my boy Grievous in action, but man, was that finale. Like, I won't lie to you guys, when they brought Darth Maul back, for a long time I did not like that idea, and even after the Clone Wars ended, I still didn't like the idea of that. But then Season 7 came out, and the finale came out, and I gotta say, he has become one of my favorite Star Wars characters. Definitely. He's such a good character. It's amazing how they were able to bring this character who people knew but didn't care too much about back from the dead, and then make him into one of the most popular Star Wars characters in the entire franchise. That's impressive. I got props to Dave Filoni for that. That was the main director for this whole series. Props to him and George Lucas, man. That's just great storytelling and great writing abilities. That whole team is so amazing. That's so good what they did. It's so good. It's so good. I'm nerding out right now. I can't explain my excitement. Man, I didn't expect it to end the way it did. The fact that we got to see Order 66 and we got to see scenes from the movies play out in animation style in the Clone Wars. Like when Mace Windu and Yoda and all those Jedi were talking about removing the Chancellor from his position once Grievous is destroyed. That was exhilarating, because now you know where we're at in timeline-wise. And then what they did for Order 66 was so good. Anakin, they took audio clips from Revenge of the Sith of when Chancellor Palpatine was fighting, or when Sidious was fighting Mace Windu, and then Anakin shows up, and then it's like, don't do it, and then it's like, it's not the Jedi way, and it's like, unlimited power. It was so cool. And then how they had Maul and Ahsoka basically sensing and the Anakin becoming Darth Vader, and then we actually see the Emperor message Captain Rex and say, execute Order 66. I'm so glad that they took like scenes and lines from Revenge of the Sith and played them out word for word and scene by scene, which is great, because one thing I hate when shows kind of go back and do something like that is that they kind of change the scenes a little bit of like in the past from past movies, which kind of kills it for me, because, you know, I mean, it's got to play out the way it's playing out. But they did a fantastic job of making everything stay the way it is, while also building upon the story of Anakin Skywalker, of the Clone Wars, of the galaxy that is, the universe that is Star Wars. And oh my gosh, I won't lie to you guys, I was bummed. I was so bummed. Star Wars was on such a decline for me. I was so bummed with where it's going. Mandalorian was cool. Like, I love Mandalorian, don't get me wrong, the live action series, but it wasn't giving me that hope for the future of Star Wars that I wanted from the movies, because I'm not a big fan of the last two movies that came out, Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. I'm not a big fan of those at all. I'll probably talk about that in a different video, but I wasn't too big of a fan of it, so yeah. But that last season of Clone Wars just was, I felt like a kid again. I honestly felt like a child again who would come home from school on Friday and then just wait the entire day, the rest of my day, for like 8 or 9 o'clock on a Friday night, and then watch the latest episode of Clone Wars comes out. That's just, I'm so happy. Everything was so fulfilling. Oh my god, and then that ending, dude, where it was like Vader and the stormtroopers, and you got to see them look like in the Clone Wars style. It was just like, oh, so cool, so next gen. Oh man, what an exhilarating series. That series, you guys don't understand how much Star Wars has done for me. I learned a lot. Like my morals were shaped by Star Wars. The idea of being, the good and the bad, the light versus the dark, and staying towards the light. And by staying in the light is not giving in to like your anger, to hatred, which obviously we're human, and sometimes we still fall short of that and end up succumbing to that sort of stuff. But it also all depends on how you pull yourself out of it and how you make yourself better because of it. And that's what Star Wars is all about. It's a family franchise and a good moral teaching. I wish a lot of like shows and movies today would take notes from Star Wars of how to teach people or how to give out themes and meanings or morals, because Star Wars is the perfect example of how you basically influence people to be better, to be good and better people without throwing in BS, and like political messages or all of this other garbage that nobody wants to. We see all the time in real life, but we want to just have these movies and shows to take us away from that. And Star Wars is the perfect example of how to teach people while also entertaining them. But yeah, that's basically all I had to say. If you enjoyed it, maybe leave a like, leave a comment saying if you love Star Wars, what you love about Star Wars, and hey, share it with a friend, just you can share the video with others that might enjoy Star Wars or enjoy stuff like this anyways, Maybe it's just an idea. Just hit the subscribe button, the bell icon, it's just whatever, check out some other videos. You can do whatever you want, it's alright, it's cool. We're vibing, we chilling, we gonking, we gonk droiding. But anyways, that's all I had to say. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.